So, Ambassador, could you tell us a bit more on the current situation that occur in Israel, both from the southern part and the northern part?
On Saturday morning, Israeli citizens woke up to a completely new reality. We are Israelis, and unfortunately, we have experience with war, with missiles, with terrorism for many years. And this is also the history of the Jewish people. But what happened on Saturday morning, which is also a Jewish holiday, at 6:30 in the morning, a strong a wave of missiles was sent to Israel all over the country, not only around the Gaza Strip. People were running to shelters all around the country. And during and it was hundreds of missiles that were firing towards Israel, the Hamas terrorists used the time and just infiltrated Israel's sovereign territory through the land, by cars, through the skies, and through the sea. Dozens of Hamas terrorists were just storming into the Israeli territory, going especially to the towns and small villages around the Gaza Strip. We've never witnessed a situation like that, and what we saw there was war crime and slaughter of innocent people that were sleeping in their beds, children that were, taken out of their beds and executed, women that were forced to go out of the house with their young children, and like the number of people that was targeted was, unheard of. I'll give you an example. There was a big party in that area with people, young people coming, having fun all night. Even some children were there. And usually those parties, they finish by the morning. 6:30 in the morning, the Hamas terrorists arrived. They just surrounded those people in the party, and they slaughtered them. 260 people are dead. Many more are injured. Others were kidnapped, abducted into the Gaza Strip. We heard stories that, just to think of them, people, old people, 85 years old, 75 years old people that were dragged from their houses and now either killed or being kept in Gaza. Who is doing something like that? These are not human beings. Who takes babies? Who is shooting a child in front of his brother or sister and his parents? What is it? This is something that for us in Israel, we cannot accept, of course. I don't think that any government around the world would accept something like that in its own sovereign territory. And unfortunately, Israel was forced into war. Israel is a strong country. Israelis are very resilient. These are very, very difficult days for all of us. We are a small country of less than 10 million people. We all know someone or families that know someone. So it's very personal for all of us. But we will win. We will win this war. And I think that the Hamas made a very big mistake. And maybe the biggest mistake they made, that they really misjudged Israel and misjudged our capability to retaliate. That's on the southern front. On the north, we warned Hezbollah, that was trying yesterday also to show that he is also there. And Hezbollah was warned by the American president as well. Be careful not to get involved. People, may get some messages or I don't know what, but Israel is a strong country. We get a lot of support. We also get a lot of international support and a lot of solidarity. And all around the world, people understand that Israel has the right for self-defense. So don't try us, not in the south and not in the north and not in any other part of Israel. We have a very tough history, and we will win this part, although it might be difficult and we lost a lot of people.
Many news report that is come out as unprecedented, unknown. In the other side, it's been like Hamas has been prepared a lot, like weapons and anything. Is there any glimpse of information from the intelligence unit before or no right after?
You know, we are now on the second day of that, or actually the third day. You know, the days are, we are all confused, not really sleeping at night. You know, days continue. The time to check who knew what and how did it happen, the time will come. At the moment, we are still fighting. Our soldiers and officers are in the front. In this area around the Gaza Strip, as I said, when they broke the fence, they stormed in. Even today, we have 6 focuses around the Gaza that we still have fightings. We still have like people that are abducted by terrorists only in recent hours. So the time to check how did it happen and who knew what, it will come. At the moment, we are focused on basically eradicating and killing all the terrorists within the Israeli territory. And of course, the next stage will be to check what about the people that are now being kept by Hamas. We want to make sure that the world also send a very, very clear message to Hamas. Whether these are Israelis that they are keeping, civilians or military people, whether they are foreign nationals like Thais or others, it is the responsibility of Hamas to make sure they all return home safely and in one piece. Whatever happens to them, it is the responsibility of Hamas, and I'm sure that the international community will demand some answers if anything will happen to any of them. At the moment, we don't have enough information. We haven't received, of course, any lists from the Hamas to say who are they holding, either Israelis or any other nationalities. What I can say is that we treat all the foreigners that got hurt as casualties, injured, or being kept by Hamas, we treat them as we treat the Israelis. We will make sure that all the information will be given, that we can actually, make sure that each and every one of them, the ones that are alive, will return home safely. But again, the responsibility now is the responsibility of Hamas. They should be held responsible, and then they should supply answers to not only to Israel but to the international community.
I understand that you have been discussed with Thai government regarding the crisis, the attack that happened in Israel. What are the information or the updates that the Israel side talking to Thai government?
We are waiting now. As I said, we still don't have information, not about the foreigners, not about the Israelis. It will take some time. As I said, we don't even know if the people are injured, what is their situation. What we do see is videos that are being taken by the Hamas themselves, being so proud of the way they treat so badly children, older people. This is something that they are proud of, which is how vicious can you be to do that. So at the moment, we don't have precise information. We are trying to gather it. It will take some time. I'm in touch with the officials here in every level. We are trying to make sure that whatever information we get, we transfer it. Your embassy, the Thai embassy in Tel Aviv, is in touch with our officials in Israel as well. And we are doing the utmost to make sure that whatever can be done will be done. Whatever we can do to assist, to support, if there is a wish to send some aircrafts to bring some people home, we are helping to facilitate everything. We are just really doing whatever is possible to do now.
Regarding the Hamas attack, will there be any possible ways to do the talk or negotiation with the Hamas?
Israel is a peace-loving country. we always try to find ways to talk. We always are interested in diplomacy. But there is a point, and there are some bodies that you cannot negotiate. What are we going to negotiate with the Hamas? How deep they are going to dig the hole where they want to bury all of us? You don't negotiate with terrorist organizations. And especially now, at the moment, there is a situation that they attacked us, we are in war, and Israel has the right to self-defense. Israel will retaliate. What happens later on, I'm sure there will be some countries and some entities that would be interested in, kind of trying to help negotiate. This is not the time. It's not the time for talking. It is the time that the Hamas will pay for what they did. At this point, we are not talking about, talking. We are talking about they will have to pay for what they did. And this is why we are no longer in a military operation or anything like that. We are in war. And in war, you fight. After that, you get to a point where you can talk, or you can talk through negotiators. I think that maybe not all of your viewers saw those horrible videos, but I can give an example, a graphic example, and I'm sorry for that, but I think people need to understand who are the people that we deal with. There was a post that was going around about I think 75 years old grandmother. One of the terrorists broke into her house. She was by herself in a kibbutz in Israel. He broke into the house. He really, in a very, very malicious way, he murdered her, slaughtered her. Then the blood was all over. And then he took pictures of that and videos and posted it on this lady's Facebook page. And this is how her family found out what happened to her. What are they? Are they animals? I mean, who does something like that? And this is just one example. And you can see, like, all over unfortunately, the social media is full of such postings. And this is something that the Hamas so proudly put on. This is not something that Israel puts on the website. It's on the Facebook or the TikTok. Hamas is proud. What kind of people are proud of such atrocities? If I may, I would like to say another thing. We are sure that Hamas organization was not operating by itself. We are sure that Hamas is heavily supported by Iran. Iran is a terrorist country, supports terrorism. And when I mean support, it's training, ammunition, give them the guidance they need for such atrocities, and the whole cooperation. We know that Iran is involved. And we know that Iran has a part. Sometimes it's not, people don't like to hear it and to say, I'm telling you that there is a bigger, it's not only Hamas, there is a bigger supporter to Hamas. And we need to understand that the international community needs to understand that, or to send a message, I would say, to Iran, to Hamas, to other terrorist organizations, no more. No more. We cannot accept it no more. So either by condemnation or countries that have diplomatic relations with them to send a very strong message that this is something that is unacceptable. You don't go into people's houses, you don't slaughter people in their sovereign country just because I don't even know what. I think this is very important, and it's important that the international community will send such messages to Hamas and to Iran and to other terrorist organizations.
How about the talk with Palestine Authority? Are they able to do anything, or it's just
Palestinian
totally
Authority is not really present in Gaza, in the Gaza Strip. They are in Judea and Samaria. And at the moment, of course, they are, as far as we know, I don't think that they are involved. They are not involved. This is the Hamas, and the Hamas is a terrorist organization. People used to try and say, they have a political wing and they have a military wing, and it's not the same, and there isn't such things. And in most countries today, Hamas is listed as a terrorist organization, and as such, He is banned from doing many things, from getting contributions of money and other things. The world needs to understand that we are dealing with an inhumane, vicious terrorist organization, and it should be treated as such.
Next step from Israel military will be only the eliminates the Hamas in Israel, but also we'll have to somehow working into the Gaza Strip area. How the situations would be for
We still don't know. We are on the third day of fighting. We still cannot say what would be the end game, but we need to make sure that the military capabilities of Hamas will be eliminated. I think that this is maybe the main goal. How it's going to be achieved, what will be done, I don't know at this point, and I cannot, even if I knew, I don't think we could share it with the world. We will have to do step by step. I have to say again, the days are very difficult in Israel. The funeral started. We are a small country. People know each other, families, friends, people that, students together. It's everywhere. The grief, the deep grief is all over the country. But as I said, we are a very resilient people. We will not give up to terrorism. It is hard. It is completely and so tragic. But we will prevail, and terrorism will not win.
And lastly, I think from the Hamas point of view, they mentioned the negotiation with the stop of settler. How finally it's going to be for especially for two-state solution? Are they still there?
Those people that they attacked the Hamas, they were not settlers. This is a sovereign part of the state of Israel. It's like, it is nobody in the world says that these are settlers. Even the Hamas itself doesn't claim them as settlers. There are some people they claim as settlers in the Judea and Samaria. I just want to remind, Israel left the Gaza Strip on a unilateral step many years back. Instead of taking the area, develop the economy, develop the agriculture, science and technology, what they did, they elected Hamas, the people there elected Hamas, made them their government, and since then they are just interested in killing, slaughtering, blaming, and doing many things. They don't develop their people. And I have to say another thing. What Hamas did, really attacking and targeting a civilian population, this is a war crime. But Hamas' war crime is double, because he also uses the Palestinian population in Gaza as human shields. You know that the main headquarters of Hamas is under the biggest hospital in the Gaza Strip. If you look in schools, behind the hospitals, inside mosques, that's where they are hiding. This is also a war crime. So Hamas is really committing war crimes, and nobody really seems to care. Like, for them, this is the reality. I think another thing is that in the past year and a half or two, Israel has been trying to be, to say, okay, Hamas is the government in Gaza. Let's try to help them to develop a little bit, to have economic development, maybe to have some investments, maybe to send more workers to work in Israel. Let's find ways, really came from a positive way to support. What was happening at that same time, that the Hamas, quietly was working on this horrendous plan of what they did. So instead of really developing the economy or trying to do something for the betterment of their own people, not us even, this is the result. This is what they did. They were planning a murderous attack against Israelis.
And lastly, any words for Thai population and Thai people who follow up the news?
Unfortunately, Thai people also got affected by the recent vicious Palestinian Hamas terror attack against Israel in recent days. We have about 30,000 Thais working in agriculture in Israel, 5,000 of them are in this area that is around outside the Gaza Strip. We love our Thai friends, the workers. We appreciate them very, very much. And we consider each and every one of them as we treat Israelis. I am personally very sorry to hear that there were so many casualties and there are people that are still kidnapped. I can tell you from the Israeli point of view, we will do everything we can. First of all, to gather the information, like we try to gather information regarding Israelis, to have the information and to try and make sure people that need medical treatment, that they will get the best medical treatment as well, of course, like any other Israeli. And hopefully, they will be treated fairly by Hamas. Of course, they are being held by Hamas now in Gaza Strip, and we cannot say how they are being treated and what are the demands of Hamas regarding them. But again, as I said, we treat each and every Thai that is now in Israel like we treat Israelis. And we appreciate the Thais very much. We collaborate now with the government on the highest levels in order to make sure that they are all safe and sound. Unfortunately, they also got involved in an unprecedented terror attack. And this is the result, human lives that are just being, wasted by a vicious, murderous terror organization.